In the headlines, federal government says the worst in Nigeria's security challenges is over. Flood destroys houses and cemetery in Kaduna. Death toll rises to 6 as commissioner resigns one day after Lagos building collapse. And on the foreign scene, Conservative leader Liz Truss to become UK's next Prime Minister. Hello and welcome to Trust TV News Updates. I am Martia Umar. Thank you for joining us now in the news in detail. The federal government on Monday assured Nigerians that the worst of the insecurity that has been plaguing the nation is over, as security agencies are now on the trail of terrorist elements on the run. Speaking at a joint news conference, frontline ministers in the security sector told journalists that substantial progress had been recorded in the last couple of days in restoring normalcy at various fronts across the country. Trust TV's Shafiu Suleiman reports.
Setting the stage for the conference in what appears blowing the government trumpet, Minister of Information Lai Mohammed says security agencies have taken seriously the recent directives by President Muhammadu Buhari on the need to speak to the terrorists in the language they understand.
Some said the security challenges have overwhelmed the military, but the military has now demonstrated that no group of ragtag criminals can ever overwhelm them. Terrorists and bandits and co can run but cannot hide. And this has been demonstrated by the arrest of those who attacked the church in Ogun. These criminals can run but cannot hide, as we have seen the decimation and realization of the cowards who ambushed the brigade of guards troops in Abuja.
And the result, according to the ministers, is assuring of the safety and security of Nigerians.
The strengths of operational successes recorded by the armed forces of Nigeria in the northeast have thus continued from January through August 2022. The exhalations of the troops of Operation Hard and K have risen by well-meaning individuals as well as reputable internal and international bodies attest to the far-reaching military achievements recorded in the Northeast.
We took Niger from North Central State, where 40 suspects were arrested. They were arrested for kidnapping, banditry, and other criminalities. 500 cattle were also recovered. 71 handsets were recovered. On July 9th, 2022, police operatives from patrol around Bakaso area of Suleja arrested a Kojeka Solar Center SKP.
We shall continue to protect the lives and property of Nigerians and foreigners in our midst. We shall continue to work for the peace of the nation and deter elements that constitute threats to the people. We shall bear the full powers of the government to secure every inch of our land. We shall not rest until peace is fully restored to Nigeria.
But the recent move is coming on the heels of devastating attacks and killings, including displacements of thousands of Nigerians by insurgents, bandits, kidnappers, violent separatists, and other sundry criminals terrorizing the country and undermining its economic growth and stability. Shafiu Suleiman, Trust TV News, Abuja.
And the federal government has suspended the proposed 5% excise duty on telecommunication services. The Minister of Communication and Digital Economy, Isa Pantami, announced the suspension in Abuja on Monday. Pantami said the decision to suspend the tax was arrived at by stakeholders, asserting that the telecommunications sector already has challenges of multiple taxes. The minister made the announcement during the inaugural meeting of the Presidential Committee on excise duty for the digital economy sector. Houses and parts of Bachama Road Cemetery have been submerged by flood in Tudunwada, Kaduna South local government area of Kaduna State. Trust TV visited the area to find displaced residents relocated to safer parts of the neighborhood. Bello Musa completes the story.
Nigerian Meteorological Agency NAMED had predicted possible flood, especially for residents of areas considered as most vulnerable. This area has always been prone to flood. Muhammad Indagana lives in the area for more than 40 years. He is devastated by the flood, as his family are now sheltered by neighbors while he sleeps in the mosque with another neighbor, Abdul Mumin Abba, who is also affected by the flood.
I've been living in this environment for almost 45 years now. Next year, the same thing will happen. So the thing continuously. Even my house now, I cannot live with my family. My family are living somewhere, I'm living somewhere. We pack all our goods. Every year, that is what we do.
We are about 30 in this house, but we had to vacate the house due to flood. My family is squat with neighbors, but I sleep in the mosque. Apart from the residences, the flood affected Bachama Road Cemetery, destroying crops. Saifullah Hiyau is one of the helpless farmers on River Kaduna Bank who watched flood destroying their crops. He said they are still counting losses and urged the government to come to their aid. We are in a devastating situation as the flood destroyed our crops. We are in a state of helplessness now. The resident blames the community for dumping refuse in the drainage, which according to them is one of the factors responsible for the flooding.
Most of the people block the waterways, in fact, and that is why if rain comes, it enters inside their houses. When you talk to them, they don't care.
Community contribute to the flood due to dumping of refuse in the drainage, which blocks the waterways. Our community also suffers from cold and mosquito bite whenever there is flood. The Nigerian Meteorological Agency NAMED has predicted 96 hours of rains, warning residents of Kaduna, Niger, Bauchi Plateau, and Nasarawa State of possible flood. Bello Musa, Trust TV News, Kaduna.
And away from Kaduna to Lagos, where the casualty figure at the site of the building collapse at Oba Idowu Street has increased to 6. A body of an elderly man and one young male adult were today recovered from the debris of the collapsed building. The National Emergency Management Agency says the search effort continues as the Lagos State Emergency Management Agency has started moving away rumble of the collapsed building. The head of the Oniru Chieftaincy Family Estate Office, Prince Olaiwaju Ajasa, gave insight into efforts made to stop the ongoing construction.
If you are here yesterday, the Honorable Commissioner for Lagos State Ministry of Fiscal Planning and Urban Development, Dr. Idris Alako, told the whole world yesterday that they had been here on three occasions to seal up. But these people will find their way, either jump the fence to continue construction in the midnight. Despite our circular from the office that nobody should be seen at the site of construction. Anything 7 p.m. They should finish up by 6. Have their bath. By 7, they should all vacate. But they didn't follow. They were not supposed to be there on Sunday, but they were there.
And meanwhile, the governor of Lagos State, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, has accepted the resignation of the Commissioner for Physical Planning and Urban Development, Idris Alako. The Commissioner for Information and Strategy, Gbenga Omotosho, announced this in a statement on Monday. The governor, who thanked the commissioner for his services to the state, said the resignation is a prelude to the reconstructing of the ministry and its agencies. The governor warned all players in the sector to respect the law or face the consequences of any indiscretion, no matter who the perpetrators are. Recall that resignation came at the heels of a recent collapse of a 7-story building in Oniru, Lekki area of the state, in which, according to recent reports, 6 people have been reportedly killed. And leaders of the People's Democratic Party in Ayeda-Ade local government area of Osun State on Monday rejected the purported expulsion of the party's governorship aspirant Dotun Babayemi from the party. At a press conference held at Ayeda-Ade local government PDP secretariat, the party leaders and members fought for the expulsion of the aspirant. In an interview, the secretary of PDP in Ward 2, Adekunle Muniruddin, and the PDP chieftain in Ward 3, Adelani Ajanaku, said the aspirant did not work against the interest of the party, insisting that his expulsion was an effort in futility.
That to this end, all members and the executive of the party at Otobalogun Ward 2 do reiterate our unalloyed support and loyalty to Omoba Dotun Babayemi for all actions he has taken so far for make the PDP a great party in this state Osun. Above all, we implore all our members of our party to continue to be law-abiding by ensuring that peace prevails at all times in Ayeda-Ade local government.
When Dotun joined politics, he landed in the APC. From APC, he left, he went to ADP. And he came with a rousing welcome. It was the leaders of PDP that courted him. It was the leadership of PDP that invited him when they saw his worth. Yes. Even when he was in ADP, we are all a living witness to the quantum number of votes which he gathered, 48,000 votes in 10 local governments. Yeah.
You're watching Trust TV News Updates. Coming up shortly, we'll take a look at thriving donkey business in Jigawa. Details of this report and more after this short break. Stay with us. Welcome back. Thank you for staying with us. You're still watching Trusted TV News Updates. A recap of our top stories. We told you that federal government says the worst in Nigeria's security challenges is over. And the flood destroys houses and cemetery in Kaduna. And moving to other news, at least 14 people have died of yellow fever disease in the country between January and July 2022, according to the Nigerian Center for Disease Control and CDC. In its latest report on the disease, the health agency stated that the fatalities were recorded in 10 states, including Zamfara, which reported 3 deaths, while the duo of Taraba and Katsina recorded 2 fatalities each. Other states that reported a death each were Abia, Bayelsa, Benue, Imo, Kaduna, Kebbi, and Yobe. Yellow fever, according to the World Health Organization, is an acute viral hemorrhagic disease transmitted by infected mosquitoes with accompanying symptoms such as fever, headache, jaundice, muscle pain, nausea, vomiting, and fatigue. The NCDC, in its situation report, said a total of 1,179 suspected cases have been reported from 416 local government areas across 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory from January 1 to July 31. The Federal Airports Authority of Nigeria has apologized over its faulty escalators, which injured travelers at the Lagos airport over the weekend. FAN Acting General Manager, Corporate Affairs, Faithful Hope Igwaze, in a statement on Monday said the Airport Authority has taken full responsibility for the incident. Hope Igwaze noted that it has also reached out to actively participate in the care for the injured. He said the authority is reviewing the operating procedure for equipment to ensure that such sudden mechanical faults do not occur again. On Saturday, a traveler with the Twitter identity at El Vicio released photos and videos narrating how her family and some travelers sustained injuries while trying to use what he called death trap called escalators at the airport. Donkeys are a popular and cheap means of transportation in northern Nigeria's rural farming communities. But in recent times, the price of donkeys has shot up amid growing demand for the animals, which is now used as food, as buyers from southern Nigeria are transporting the animals home for consumption. Trust TV correspondent Idris Jibrin, who visited Maigatari International Cattle Market in Jigawa State, reports that thousands are benefiting from donkey trade in the country.
Many years back, donkeys are used to transport mostly agricultural produce from rural farming communities to the market in cities and towns across northern Nigeria. But that is changing, as cows are gradually replacing it because the animal is now consumed as food. Here in Nigeria, we take it to the southern part of the country, where it's being consumed as food. Its business is now booming here in Maigatari International Cattle Market, where over 40,000 people said to be directly or indirectly involved in the trade. Those who are benefiting from this donkey trade here in Maigatari, Gumel and Jigawa State in general are more than 50,000 doing the business of donkey alone. In Maigatari International Cattle Market, a big size of donkey now sells for 60,000 naira as against 20,000 naira some years back, while medium size attract as much as 30,000 naira as against old price of 10,000 naira, largely due to increase in the demand of the animals. Brought here from Niger Republic, Sudan, and some other African countries, an estimated 5,000 donkeys leave the Maigatari market to the south every day, effectively creating jobs and generating revenue for the locals. Roughly, we do collect about 4 to 5 million monthly, and our chairman is using the money to run the local communities. Despite growing agitation to legislate against the sale of these animals, traders believe that a more permanent approach to sustain their business is indeed needed, considering the number of people benefiting from the trade. I am urging our lawmakers, whom we elected to represent us, to stop considering the issue of stopping our business. Instead, they should make a law by which we can breed more donkeys so that our business will grow further. Although providing income for many, but expert believes that unless something is done, the last remaining donkeys population as animals may soon disappear across the country. Idris Jibrin, Trust TV News, Jigawa.
And to business news, the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria, IPMAN, has begun a 3-day strike across the northern state depot. IPMAN leadership at a press briefing said its withdrawal of services at depot was as a result of the failure of the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority to settle its claims of over 70 billion naira. A review that 2 billion naira has been paid, which is less than 5% of their claims, as against the agency's allegation that it has disbursed 9 billion naira to them. They warned that the failure to pay the claims within the next 30 days would lead to the suspension of operations indefinitely in 9 northern states, which include Maiduguri, Yola, Minna, Gusau, Jos, Suleja, Kaduna, Gombe, and Minna.
It is very ridiculous that you took a product far south, far west to far north without being paid even in advance. Nobody can haulage a product from far west to far north Maiduguri without being paid. Yes, it is very ridiculous. So therefore, this press briefing is not to cause havoc to the members of general members of the public. That is why we decided not to close our outlets. We should leave the outlet dispensing oil to general public because we are law-abiding citizens of Nigeria. Just want to tell the federal government and the general public and well-to-do to at least call the attentions of the central government to intervene and solve this problem. If not, we have no option than to withdraw the service in due course. Yes, we cannot. That's not.
Civil society groups in northern Nigeria wants the federal government to terminate the pipeline surveillance contract awarded to Ekpemukpolo, popularly known as Tompolo. They also want the federal government to use the 48 billion naira he will earn to address the development and environmental needs of the Niger Delta people. Bello Musa reports.
While addressing a news conference in Kaduna, the group said awarding a contract to people who carried arms against the state is sending the wrong message to youths who will see thuggery as better than being a loyal citizens of the country.
As we are aware, since the revelations of the award of contract of surveillance to government Ekopolo, aka Tampolo, others came to public knowledge, the country has been charged over the issue of the federal government of Nigeria and NNPC Limited to award security contract to private individuals, especially those with a negative track record of raising arms once against the state. Northern Group wants the contract of Tompolo to be terminated.
The group also called on President Muhammadu Buhari to critically look into the position of the Nigeria Customs and Nigerian Navy over a claim of oil theft by the NNPC.
We wish to call on Mr. President to look critically into the position of both the Nigerian Customs and Nigerian Navy over the outrageous claims of theft of oil and gas sector by the NNPC Limited. Both cannot be wrong while NNPC is right.
The civil society further commended the National Assembly for initiating the probe into the subsidy regime and urged them to make the process public. Bello Musa, Trust TV News, Kaduna.
And away from Nigeria, Foreign Secretary Liz Truss has been named leader of the governing Conservative Party, taking power as Britain's next Prime Minister at a time when the country faces a cost of living crisis, industrial unrest and a recession. After weeks of party leadership contest, the Peter Truss against Rishi Sunak, a former finance minister, Monday's announcement triggered the beginning of a handover from Boris Johnson. Johnson was forced to announce his resignation in July after months of scandal, and he will travel to Scotland to meet Queen Elizabeth on Tuesday to officially tender his resignation. In a short victory speech at the announcement in a central London convention hall, Truss said it was an honor to be elected after undergoing one of the longest job interviews in history. She picked up 57 points of eligible votes among Conservative Party members. And still on the foreign scene, Kenya's Supreme Court has upheld the victory of former Deputy President William Ruto in the August 9 presidential election after ruling a number of petitions brought by his closest challenger, Raila Odinga. The unanimous verdict was delivered on Monday by Martha Koome, the chair of the 7-member court. On August 15, Ruto has been declared the winner of the ballot by Wafula, and the head of the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, IEBC, with 50.4% of the vote to Odinga's 48.8%. In a dramatic split just before the announcement of the result, 4 of the 7 commissioners disowned the result. But Kume said that apart from their 11th-hour denunciation of the verification process, the 4 commissioners have not shown any evidence that the election was compromised. And finally, in sports, the chairperson of the Nigerian Women Football League, Aisha Falode, has declared her intention to join the race for a seat in the Executive Committee of the Nigerian Football Federation in the September 30 elective Congress slated for Benin City, Edo State. Falode, the only female-appointed Executive Committee member of the present NFF, said at the event held for her declaration of the intention to contest for ESCO seat on the NFF, said she decided to seek an elective position into the Executive Committee of the NFF because of her desire to effectively build up women's football both at the league and national team levels. She said this would enable her to be a real shareholder in the Nigerian Football Federation with real stake and not limited by the status of an appointee. According to her, she wants to be fully involved in the decision-making and implementation of developmental programs and the Federation. And we have come to the end of the news update at this hour. For more, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us across all our social media platforms. I am Martia Umar. Thank you for watching and stay tuned.